we'll switch gears. So I did write a book called ALX Proverbs. I also made a website called lxmnv.com where most of my thoughts are composed. So I wrote a couple books on some side hustles, some mental health issues, some how to be a man and go get what you want type of books. And then because I study business and leadership, I wrote a book on Christian leadership, but then I have an actively open essay slash discussion about successful business. If we were to chase an abundant life, we would also try to have a successful business, right? So if we were to have a good life and a good business and a decent enough balance to where we feel full instead of stressed out and constantly sacrificing something, then that would be kind of a win-win situation for our life. This one is called the sovereign architecture because a human is a sovereign being. Not only do they have the freedoms of a couple things, and a lot of them are protected. A lot of them are just so taken for granted that we forget that we have the freedom to think and make decisions and eat the proper foods and follow the right people around, right? And look up to the correct ones or avoid certain ones. And I think for the most part we do this relatively well. But there are some flaws. And so the goal to troubleshooting through life is that we don't just have a manual for a problem-free life. We live life and then we troubleshoot through the stuff that comes by. So the sovereign architecture is a small reminder that a human is a sovereign being created by a God being in God's image in a way that we speak with words, right? When they said that God created the earth and everything in it in like 6 days, he spoke. And in the Bible, it says that Jesus Christ is the Word. So, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So every time God spoke, Jesus Christ was the muscle. He went out and made it, right? So God was like, let there be light. Jesus Christ was like, and then energy released, and there was light. Let there be animals. Guess who crafted everything, right? So that's the way I perceive this guy. I don't perceive this Jesus as just a dude who died on a tree, who died on some wood, right? And then we're like, oh, but he rose again. That's so powerful. Well, but who is this God man that we claim to not only worship and follow, but we claim that is the most powerful name in the universe that will ever exist, right? So some of us Christians were like, oh, Jesus's name, his brand, his agenda is kind of powerful, so we're gonna align with that because we realize our own limitations. But then also we forget, or sometimes we're too lazy to acknowledge that we are the hands and feet, we are the open mouth, we are the able body of God. And when he puts something on our hearts, when he tells us to do something, when he or tells us, right? Because rarely do we encounter God. Sometimes there's just a burden, a weight, a feeling, circumstances kind of navigate you through through a path that he designed for you, right? So I'm not perfect. I just know that there's been a lot of times where I've been saved for making bad decisions by the fact that some doors were not open to me. And that's kind of cool because God also shields us by redirecting us, right? Closing doors in our face so that we go a different direction, or that we take a little bit longer to get to where we're going because we needed to have a little bit of character development. Anyways, so the sovereign architecture, it's a little bit more of a complex subject, but for the leaders, we've exhausted a lot of ways, right? We're acknowledging that the disposable era, where everything is thrown away and replaceable, including relationships, including your employees, including your products, including your systems. Well, if everything was dispensable and it wasn't working, we need something permanent, right? So the sovereign architecture has a little bit more of a Tartarian um, builder type of mentality to it, whereas Tartarian buildings, the lost civilization of Tartaria, were the people who built all these impressive cathedrals and dome-like, massive stone fucking houses and churches, right? So, and those buildings will stand the test of time because they're so solidly built and impressive. So, the Tartarian method to building is more than just fucking the landlord special over some sheetrock, right? It's the carving of the stone. It's the taking the equation that these elements will not erode for at least 500 to 700 years, or even 1,000, 10,000 years. This rock will not move, right? This fucking dome piece will not move. Um. So, anyways, so I thought about it, talked with some AI, and this is more of a 7-minute fucking introduction. This is an introduction to a preface, which I'm about to read. Why most systems fail quietly. Most businesses don't collapse in a spectacular fashion. They don't explode. They don't implode overnight. They quietly erode. Performance dips, culture thins, good people disengage, leaders get reactive, meetings multiply, clarity disappears, and by the time the numbers finally scream, the architecture has already failed. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Systems don't fail because of bad intentions. They fail because they were never designed to carry the real weight. I highlighted, I made it bold, so let me put some bass in my voice. Systems don't fail because of bad intentions. They fail because they were never designed to carry real weight. We live in an era obsessed with speed, scale, and optics. Leaders are trained to manage appearances instead of foundations. They chase growth before stability, culture before standard, and motivation before structure. This essay is corrective. Um, this essay is a corrective. Sovereign architecture is a way of thinking about leadership, business, and systems that treats them like physical structures, because they are. Pressure reveals everything, load exposes weaknesses, and time punishes shortcuts. You cannot vibe your way to longevity. You cannot emotionally manage what requires an architectural discipline. And you cannot build something that lasts if your leadership collapses under stress. The premises here is simple. People are not resources, they are load bearing elements. Culture is not a mood, it is engineered behavior. Authority is not control, it is earned stability. Leadership is not charisma, it's structural integrity. This work is written for builders, for executives, founders, operators, managers, and leaders who are tired of putting out fires and want to design an environment that don't ignite blah 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 blah. I should make I should make a post, right? People are not resources; they are load-bearing elements in the business, in the culture, in the society. Culture is not a mood; it is engineered behavior. Authority is not control; it is earned stability. Leadership is not charisma; it is structural integrity. Okay, I'm going to About 10 minutes now. Still no coffee. Took a sip of water, but it doesn't hit quite correct. Okay, well, this thing is about 7 chapters. Do I want to make 7-10 minute videos today? Is that a good plan? But then I gotta change a shirt, and then I gotta this and that. I don't know. This is preface. The content is available on my website, alxluxmanov.com, and if you want the essay, the article, I guess, you can ask me, and I'll give you a PDF. 7 quick chapters. Talks about foundation over fear, or foundations over feelings. Chapter 2 is top performers are not optional. Chapter 3, accountability is freedom. Chapter 4, culture is built, not hoped for. Chapter 5, winner mindset as a daily practice. Chapter 6, power must be designed to outlive you. Chapter 7, build something that can carry the weight. And obviously, chapter 8 is my bio, like, this is me, I'm writing this stuff. I'm kidding, there's no chapter 8, fuck all that. Anyways, stay tuned, like and subscribe.